The secret to reducing your anxiety is to do less, which is a lesson that I've been learning over and over again throughout the 8 years that I've been struggling with a generalized anxiety disorder. Because have you ever felt like your mind is constantly racing and no matter what you do, you can't seem to find peace? And you're not alone, because in our fast-paced world, full of technology, anxiety has become an epidemic and literally affecting millions of people. And I was so overwhelmed, even today. I'm just constantly stressed in the motion, working and working and working, but unable to enjoy the little things in life. And I felt like I was trapping myself inside of a cycle that was never ending by doing more and more and more. Right? Maybe you can relate to this. You wake up in the morning and you're already stressed out about work or school. And then you fill your to-do list with a bunch of different things that you might not even need to do, that you kind of have to do because you have responsibilities, and it's just stressing you out. And you never find a place to be still, to be calm. So in this video, I want to show you the powerful methods that can help you reduce your anxiety by actually doing less. And no, you don't have to do more. You have to do less. By becoming still, you will experience greater clarity, improved focus, and a profound sense of inner peace, right? And you will be able to handle stress way more effectively and enjoy life to the fullest. Because since I can think back of my anxiety, right? I was 10 years old and I went to school and I got heavily bullied because I was always alone. I had no friends. I looked like shit. I ate like shit. I had no confidence. So it was a very easy target and people started to pick on me. And then I developed a generalized anxiety disorder, which means I feel anxious every single second of the day, no matter what happens. I've been living with that for 8 years. And constantly I was just escaping my anxiety, indulging in video games, indulging in porn, and junk food and other bad habits, just constantly running away, constantly finding something that would distract me from the present moment. And even when I got into self-improvement, right, I started going to the gym, reduce my anxiety, do all of the good habits, get rid of my bad habits, and became an entrepreneur and got a girlfriend. And I'm constantly moving forward, constantly moving. And it's even stressing me out right now. So you have to learn to be still. Like that's just like a very nice, like stoic, like presence about being still. Like really imagine, right, you're this man and you're just sitting in a chair and you don't get bothered by anything. You're just calm in your mind. You're just calm inside of yourself. Because we do not live in this moment. We in fact try desperately to get out of it by thinking, doing, talking, walking, worrying, remembering, hoping, whatever. Like when was the last time you actually just sat there in silence and you did nothing? We have so much noise in the digital world. Right now, like I'm even contributing to this problem. I'm creating this video, distracting you right now from what actually matters, which is your mental health, your clarity, your mind, and reducing your anxiety. We have all of these different inputs, but nothing to do with them. Right? We get so much into our brain, but we can't process it. And 90% of the stuff that gets into our brain is complete junk and useless. The news, the media, other people talking shit, some celebrities having some kind of, argument or whatever. And that is just making our life so much worse. I tried to sit down today for 10 minutes, just doing absolutely nothing. I was not touching my phone. I was just sitting on my bed doing nothing. I wasn't journaling. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't eating nothing. And it was so damn hard for me. I was just like afraid of the silence. And then I realized I had to make a video about this so I can hold myself accountable to being more still, more in peace with myself and in silence. We are afraid of the silence. We are afraid of looking stupid. We are afraid of missing out. Like I have this fear of missing out. I'm like, if I don't check YouTube for a single day, that's like this new business strategy that I can implement to help my clients reduce their anxiety. What if I miss out? But we are afraid of being the bad guy who says, nope, I'm not interested. But just imagine you're acting so much according to your values, right? You have these principles in life, these values in your life, these goals that you want to achieve, and you prioritize yourself above everything else, and you say, no, thank you. I don't want your nonsense. I don't want your shitty input that will fry my brain, my dopamine receptors, and make my mental health worse. And we'd rather make ourselves miserable than make ourselves a priority, than be our best self, then be still, and in charge of our own information diet. So the first step to being still is just to cut out all of the noise. Like you probably heard of like digital detox before and stuff like that. Whatever. Just cut out the noise, like at least for like a few minutes a day. Like when was the last time you actually did nothing? You didn't have your phone in your hand, you didn't eat, you didn't talk, you didn't walk, you did nothing. You didn't try to sleep, you just intentionally, like you you had the intention to do nothing. When was the last time that you did that? Maybe you did it for the first time in your life after this video. You just have to sit in silence. Because anxiety is telling you there is a problem, or at least a perceived problem, a threat that you're anticipating and thinking about in the future. And the answer is within you. The answer to your anxiety, to reducing your anxiety, is within you, because it's a problem created by you. And I don't want to get like spiritual here or religious here, because I'm not religious myself, but I do believe there's like a higher power. I don't believe in God, but I believe there's like a universal consciousness, something in the universe that is sending us like signals and answers to ourselves. Right? Because the answer is already within you. You just have to find it. And your conscious mind, so what you're picking up with your five senses. And when you think and when you have like reason and logic, right, your logical part of the brain can only process 7 bits of information at once. That's why we can't hear to and listen to multiple people. That's why we can't, right, understand all of the different information that's going on inside of our brain. That is a huge problem, because we're constantly overdriving this 7 bits of information by the stuff that we put into our brain. But here's the interesting thing: your unconscious mind can process an unlimited amount of information. If you constantly move and do, you won't find the answers. Once you sit in silence, once you do like a slightly non-stimulating task, you will find the answers. Because the problem that you have in your mind right now, right, reducing anxiety, or something that you're stressed about right now, right, being scared of failing the test, or living up to someone else's expectations, or having these negative thoughts and beating yourself down, or not really knowing what to do with your life and feeling a sense of emptiness, you find those answers by just sitting in silence and putting the problem into your unconscious mind, which then finds an answer and puts it back into your conscious mind. But that won't happen if you're just always distracted, just moving, right? And all great thinkers and successful people get away to think in silence. Albert Einstein did it. Great writers did it. They buy a cabin in the woods and just chill there for like a month, a week, and just do nothing. So here are a couple of questions that you should think about, or at least journal about. Just grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, and empty your mind. Just write down everything. Because I'm not the type of person that likes to speak about my feelings. I don't like to open up to other people, so I just write everything in the journal. Every single time I have a problem, I write it in the journal, right? I let my thoughts out on paper. I let my mind take over, and I will always find a solution. Like, this sounds extremely crazy, but whenever I journal, I always find a solution. Not like really finding a solution, but like if I don't find a solution, I at least get some clarity on what the problem is. What can I do about it? What are all of the different aspects? How can I think this through critically? And then, by a bit more thinking, by a bit more journaling, by a bit more digging deeper, I find the answer to my problems every single time. Whenever I have a problem with a client, whenever I'm trying to find a new strategy, or some kind of specific thing that I can do to improve my business and make anxious young men reduce their anxiety even more, I just think about this problem and journal about it. And here are a couple of questions that you should ask yourself, which are very crucial for finding out who you actually are. Where am I standing in my own way? Where are you secretly self-sabotaging your progress, and you know exactly where? What's the smallest step I can take toward the big thing today? Why am I so worked up about this? What blessings can I count right now? Who do I care so much about? Why do I care so much about impressing other people? What is the harder choice I'm avoiding? Do I rule my fears, or do they rule me? How will today's difficulties reveal my character? And what do we stand for? What do you stand for? What do you believe to be essential and important? And what are we really living for? If you can answer these questions, you're already ahead of 99% of people. And you're one step closer to being still. Now, the next step of being still is to think deeply, not just think. Like a lot of people say, yeah, you have to think about your problems. You have to think. Well, shallow, overthinking and worrying about a future event, and not really being in the present moment and finding like a plan that you can act on right now is meaningless. Just thinking about random shit like a dancing dog or something that you saw on TikTok, it won't do anything. You have to think deeply. Thought will not work except in silence. Thomas Carlyle. And you can't think when you're constantly in a stimulated sense, when you constantly have noises around you. You need to be alone, whether that's in nature, whether that's just in your room at night or in the morning, some kind of empty space, so you can let your mind fill out that space. We have to get better at thinking deliberately and intentionally about the big questions, on the complicated things, on understanding what's really going on with a person or situation or with life itself. Whenever I was lost, I just sat down and thought, For 10 minutes. That's it. We have to do the kind of thinking that 99% of the population is not doing it. And we have to stop doing the destructive thinking that they spend 99% of the time doing. Right? There was this amazing study that showed that we have 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000. 85% or 80% of them are negative and 95% of them are repetitive, which means we only truly operate at 5% of our true potential. Like we have this insane computer in our mind, but we just choose to get distracted, and chase, but never be here in the moment, be bored, be still, and accept life as it is, and find valuable solutions to our anxiety. If you want more revelations, more insights or breakthroughs or new big ideas, we have to create more room for them. We have to step away from the comfort of noisy distractions and stimulations. We have to start listening. So you can try this practice literally after this video. Sit alone in a room and let your thoughts go wherever they will. Do this for 1 minute. Work up to 10 minutes a day of this mindless mental wandering, and then start paying attention to your thoughts to see if a word or goal materializes. If it doesn't, extend the exercise to 11 minutes, then 12, then 13, until you find the length of time you need to ensure that something interesting will come to mind. The Gaelic phrase for the state of mind is quietness without loneliness, and that's what I did today. I just sat in silence for 10 minutes. What did I find? I found out that not sitting in silence is actually my problem. Because I realized that I feel extremely uncomfortable with just thinking deeply and just sitting in silence. And I have to do this. I just have to get used to it. I have to do this over and over again. I will add this to my daily meditation practices. Just reflecting on life, reflecting on big questions. Basically being like a modern day philosopher. And think about how much you can get ahead of the other people just constantly glued to the screen, constantly on TikTok, frying the brain. And of course it makes them anxious. You have a cognitive overload. You have so much stuff in your brain that you can't process. It's like a ball made out of wool, all tangled together. You have to pull the strings out, you have to grab the ball and pull strings out and really follow their track until you understand what's really going on inside of your brain. You have to reduce the importance. I'm constantly chasing. I've been recording videos every single day for 1.5 years, right? I have over 1,000 videos on my channel. I'm working out every single day. I'm working every single day. I'm walking every single day. I'm doing everything that I can every single day to improve myself. But in doing that, I kind of lost my spark. I'm not embracing the process. I'm just constantly in my mind thinking about the future, more. How can I help more people? How I can make more money? How I can add another centimeter of muscle to my biceps? How I can be a better human being? What if I find this one secret? So I will finally be successful and finally be happy. If your inner state is fucked, if your inner state is anxious, material wealth, outside objects won't do anything. They won't fill the void. And to assess if you're in a bad state mentally, you just have to look at your behavior. Because most of what you're doing is trying to fill the void in some way. I am working because I am afraid of confronting my inner self. I just replaced porn, video games, junk food with working. But I never took the time to actually think about why am I doing this, right? We have these psychological defense mechanisms. We try to suppress our feelings or judge other people and project our insecurities onto them. But we never spend time with ourselves. What are your habits? Whether good or bad, you do them for a reason. You might think on the surface level, I'm doing them to distract myself, to feel good, because it's fun. But if you ask yourself, why are you doing this? You know the answer inside of you. But again, you need silence and stillness and boredom for that. And you need to learn to embrace the process and give up chasing. We think better if we aren't thinking so hard. So really, we have 3 objectives here. First of all, reduce the junk in our brain and become more still. Then if we do think deeply. And then if we think deeply, don't think so hard. So this might take me a lifelong journey, but I want you to really understand this and invite you to the whole process of just becoming a modern day philosopher. That sounds like a very pleasurable experience to me, right? We have our internal struggles, we're struggling with anxiety, and just imagine you're so wise, right? You're 85 years old and you have 2, 3 kids and your life is going well and you overcame your anxiety and you're just this wise old grandpa, and you can just spit facts and spit wisdom to other people, and they just thank you for that because you did the inner work. And the more at peace we are, the more productive we can be. Like I really had to learn this lesson. I'm constantly moving forward, moving forward, and moving forward. And I haven't took like the last time I took a break is like 2 years ago, like a real break for like 2-3 days. I don't take breaks. I'm just working all day long on weekends. And I really had to learn yesterday that I have to take breaks. I was burned out. I didn't feel like I didn't enjoy anything anymore. I was constantly feeling anxious. And then, I called on my girlfriend and she said, hey, let's go to a lake and let's swim. And after that, let's go eating. And after that, let's go on a walk. And it was one of the most amazing and wholesome experiences and one of the best days of my life. In the morning, I was working. In the evening, I was relaxing. And now I'm just back here in the evening working, recording videos. After this, I will record another one, working. But you don't give your mind a space to be productive, right? You lack the perspective. I'm just constantly glued to my screen. I'm not zooming out. I'm not seeing the whole picture. And I know this, and I'm still working and moving forward right now. It's a paradox. I'm telling you to not do what I'm doing right now, but I'm doing it because it's so difficult for me to sit in silence. So, like I said, this is a lifelong journey, and I'm starting my journey today, now. And mental stillness will be short-lived if our hearts are on fire or our souls ache with emptiness. We are incapable of seeing what is essential in the world if we are blind to what's going on within us. Like I had to come to this realization that the only thing that truly matters is what's going on inside you. The thoughts that you have, the beliefs that you have, and your feelings. Because the world is like a mirror, and what you feel inside gets mirrored back to the outside. If you feel anxious, you see it through the lens of anxiety, and you constantly see situations where you feel anxious, and you constantly make your life hell. Right? It all depends on perspective and how you see things. If you're socially anxious, going out into the city with a couple of friends seems like the worst thing that you could do, like it did for me. But if you reduce your anxiety, if you overcome your anxiety, all of the other experiences become way more fun. And then the trip to the city with a couple of friends isn't torture, it's pleasure, it's fun, it's a nice activity, it's living life to the fullest. And then you have a couple of beliefs like you can't overcome your anxiety. If you think you do, you can't. If you think you can, you can. And you really have to be mindful, and the art of stillness, right? And being bored helps with this process, to be mindful, to be still. I got quite good recently at observing my thoughts. When I wake up in the morning, I have like this natural tendency towards negative thoughts. You can probably relate to this, like these anxious negative thoughts, like, what if this happens? What if this happens? Or you have to do something, you're just like, I don't want to do it. Why do I have to do this? Why me? Other people do something and they're not even intent, like their intent is not even to harm you, but you kind of interpret it as like, they want to hurt me, they are bad, everyone's bad, I'm kind of a victim. And I really paid attention to the thoughts, and then I was like, damn, like no wonder I'm feeling bad inside if I have these negative thoughts in my mind and I'm not even aware of them. But you only become aware of them once you reduce all of the noise, you cut all the bullshit. We are incapable of seeing what is essential in the world if we're blind to what's going on within us. We cannot be in harmony with anyone or anything if the need for more is gnawing at our inside like a magnet. It's just reduce the importance. Of course you want to achieve goals. I have ambitious goals. I'm working every day, but you have to enjoy the process. You have to be mindful in the moment. Which brings us to the next step. Be careful of desiring. Like there was this quote by like Anthony de Mello or Alan Watts who basically said something like, if you desire, you basically postponing your happiness into the future. So if you have a desire, you say, I can't be happy right now because I don't have the thing that I think will make me happy. A person enslaved to their desires is not free. Like, of course, it's good to have goals, to have ambitions, right? Like evolution shaped us to progress and to adapt and to improve, and we all sense like this feeling of this satisfaction of striving forward and making progress. Like I believe it's within all us. Some people just lost the spark, but we can definitely reclaim that. There's like spark and hunger for success and achievement. And that is totally fine, but you have to be careful. Because a person enslaved to their desires is not free. It is an endless loop of misery. You're just like a carrot, right? It's like a carrot on a stick on your horse, and you're just running after this carrot over and over again. And you eat, like you bite a tiny tip of the carrot. You get a little bit taste of success, and then just like, I want more, I want more, I want more. Like it's a never-ending cycle. When I lost weight, like I was obese for getting bullied. So I went to the gym and I had a bunch of anxiety and overcame these fears over and over again. And of course there were some setbacks and days where I didn't feel like it. And I pushed through, and then I started losing weight. And once I lost weight, I was like, damn, now I'm skinny fat. I don't have any muscle. And then like 2 years ago, I started going to the gym, I built muscle. And now I'm finally at the stage where I can like wear a tank top and go outside without feeling self-conscious. And now I'm just like, when I go outside and I see someone that's bigger than me, I'm just like, okay, I need more muscle. I need to train harder. I need more. And I'm comparing myself to people that are 10, 20 years ahead of me, which is extremely toxic. So can you see, I'm just like, instead of embracing like the body that I've built, the process that I went through, the progress that I've made, I'm just chasing and chasing and chasing. Like I'm a donkey, and in front of me is like a dangling carrot on a stick. When you realize there's nothing lacking, Lao Tzu says, the whole world belongs to you. Just imagine you're just like I said, there's like this balance between desire and striving forward for success, but also being happy and grateful for what you have right now. So you really have to balance this. You really have to have this fucking balance. Because you will be miserable just chasing goals and desiring and delaying you're basically just saying, yeah, I don't have to think, therefore I can't be happy in the moment. But you have to be grateful for what you have right now while still striving forward. You have nothing lacking right now. Everything, all of the answers, all of the problems, the solutions are inside of you. You just have to find them. And I don't mean that in the sense that you can solve every single problem right now. You can't. You're not the person, right? You have to become you can. You are not the person who is capable of achieving the goals or reducing your anxiety right now, because otherwise you would have achieved that goal. But by thinking, you come up with solutions. You're just like, okay, here's a problem, here's a solution. The solution is already within you, but not in the context that you can solve the problem, but in the context that your mind will throw something at you, so you become the person that can solve the context at that problem. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you're anxious and you don't know where to start. By thinking deeply about the problem, you might understand and realize that you have this specific thought pattern. Then you're like, okay, how can I get rid of the thought pattern? You don't have the answers in your head right now, but then you will be like, oh, I could read this book. Oh, I could watch this podcast. Oh, I could watch a video like this. And then you find the solutions. So your mind is always, like I believe, like I said before, this consciousness that your mind is healthy and it wants to guide you to success. You just have to listen to it and do the right actions. But you have like a conflicting, two conflicting parts in yourself. Your conscious and your unconscious brain are fighting. It's like your heart and your mind are fighting with each other. You have a desire, but your heart is like you have this logic versus feelings and emotions constantly battling against each other, and you have to learn to ride the wave of success and align your thinking with your heart and your desires. And be careful of desiring the wrong things. Like really journal and think about what you actually desire and why you desire it. And once you ask yourself those deep questions, you will find out that all of your desires are because of the lack that you had in the past. Right? There was this amazing quote by Carl Jung or Sigmund Freud who said, the adult is made to protect the child. So you have an inner child inside of you that probably got hurt, traumatized as you were a child. And that part of you needs acceptance, love, closure, something like that, intimacy. Right? So when I was 10 years old, I got bullied and I didn't have any resources back then to help myself. And all of the actions that I'm taking now are to protect this inner version of myself. All of the desires that I have right now are to protect my inner child. One of the first things that I did was losing weight. Why did I do that? Because my inner child got bullied for being obese. After that, I got braces. Why? Because I got bullied for having crooked teeth. Now I'm an entrepreneur. Why am I an entrepreneur? Because I can work for myself and I don't have a tyrant above me, which is similar to having someone else, like a bully, above you, telling you what to do and pushing you around. So can you see how all of the actions that I'm doing right now are because of the inner hurt version of myself? And you have to really find out why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you desire to overcome your anxiety or reduce it? What are your goals and why do you want to have them? It's not just about money. Ask yourself 5 times why. And then you're already ahead of most people. They will never ask themselves these questions. At the start, I thought I just want to be an entrepreneur to make money. No, it's way deeper. It's because I want to have full control. And then when I make money, I want to prove everyone wrong. Like it comes from a self of insecurity and hatred. Not because of just money, not because of material objects. That's all meaningless. If wanting something makes you miserable, why you don't have it? While you don't have it, doesn't that diminish the true value of the reward? Right? If getting what you want has its consequences too, is it really pleasurable? Like, of course, you have to be disciplined. You have to be like David Goggins, Andrew Tate, grind mode. Of course, I get that, right? I am that too, but you have to balance gratefulness, being in the moment, happiness, taking time off, relaxing, thinking, being still, being bored, with working, moving forward, and making progress. To have an impulse and to resist it, to sit with it and examine it, to let it pass by like a bad smell. This is how we develop spiritual strength. This is how we become who we want to be in this world. You can't just act on your desires. Imagine every single time you get an impulse to watch porn, to eat junk food, to play video games, to have sex, to buy something, to hurt someone, you do it. You get nowhere. You end in, like, the worst case is that you end up in prison, right? We're still animals at our core and we have these deep prime desires. We should acknowledge them, right? Like the desire to kill, or the desire to hunt, or the desire to take someone, to beat someone, the competition, right? All of these masculine primal instincts, we should acknowledge them, but power comes from, like, Jordan Peterson had this amazing quote about being a monster. Like, a monster is someone who can hurt someone else but chooses not to, not the person who is like hurting to choose someone else. So you have to, like, open up this world inside of you, use the fire, ignite the fire, and use it for good, not for bad. Only those of us who take the time to explore, to question, to extrapolate the consequences of our desires have an opportunity to overcome them and to stop regrets before they start. So you have to become still. Okay, so your action steps are to just sit in silence for 10 minutes a day. Just get a pen, get a notepad. Literally, they cost like 10 euros. Buy one, it will change your life. Replace scrolling with journaling. Think about these deep questions. Right? So if you want to reduce your generalized anxiety disorder in just 30 days, you can click on the first link in the description to book a free call with me. We will just hop on a call. We will talk. We will see if you're the right fit for my coaching program. And if you are, I hope to see you inside. If not, enjoy my free content. Thanks for watching, and please take action.